Mind your business.
I wish everybody in the world knew how much better life would be if everybody just mind their business. For real. Like, I ain't got my business, you got your business, we don't mind each other's business.
No matter what it is, mind your business. You're gonna have to mind your business. Hey, I mind my business so much I'll be forgetting you existed. Because guess what? Whatever you doing, I don't give a damn. Not even a little bit.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cash App or buying your girl a coffee. This used to be about privacy. People not wanting other folks to be all up in their business, all up in their Kool-Aid. But now it seems to have extended to when I'm out in public, you better not have any opinion on what you see or what you hear while I'm literally out in the public. See, here's the problem. I don't have an issue with people wanting privacy. However, when it comes to our behaviors and how we conduct ourselves in public, that is a social issue. When we leave our house looking any old kind of way, behaving any old kind of way, it is no longer a mind your business conversation because your behavior directly affects everyone around you. People who don't take care of themselves, people who don't take care with how they leave their house, that I don't give a damn mentality, it seeps into every single thing that they do. If you don't even care enough to give a damn about your appearance, why would I ever believe that you give a damn enough to handle my food with care, to handle my children with care, just literally anything with care? I've had people in the comment section telling me about how they go to work at Amazon and the folks are showing up in their pajamas and bonnets. No wonder all your packages arrive broken, because people don't handle anything with care because they don't care. And the way we leave our house, the way we present ourselves is just a symptom of the bigger problem. See, this is the part that folks in my comment section, the illiterate folks, they don't understand the connection between the symptom and the overall problem.
I don't care if you get offended or not, but the way you choose to present yourself as a man or a woman will determine how other people are gonna treat you. Like, a lot of y'all don't understand this nowadays anymore because, we live in 2025 and common sense has been gone since 2015 and no one gives a fuck about anything. No one wants to hear, their opinion. No one wants to care if things are wrong. Everyone wants to think that they're right and all this other bullshit. Choose to present yourself in a dirty, negative, weird way, like, then you gotta be prepared to expect people to treat you like that. Like, you can't expect people to treat you like professionalism, nice, or whatever you're trying to go for, and you're not playing the part. You're not presenting your part the right way, so people aren't gonna take you serious. Either business, friendship, relationship, whatever it is, you feel me? A lot of y'all like to just go about your day and thinking that you can become any person you want to become, but in reality, in the real world, there's fucking real life standards. This ain't social media and views and likes. 1,000 people like my, so that means it's passable in real life. No, it doesn't mean that at all, you feel me? So that's why I try to tell y'all, like, a lot of people lost the concept of this shit and common sense in real life, you feel me? Common sense don't exist in certain people's, vocabulary, their mindset, whatever you want to call it. It's just gone, man. There's only one way people see life now, and that's the only way they're going to determine to see life nowadays. And they hope that people accept them, you feel me? We all want to be accepted in life, you guys, for whatever we do, whatever we create, our business and stuff like that. But there comes a certain point where we all have to use common sense and determine and tell people and tell ourselves, is this logical? Am I doing this shit the right way? Am I presenting myself the right way? Do I look like a fool? Are people telling me? It's like, we all got to get the hints nowadays, man. I'm not saying you got to take everyone's opinion in life and roll with it. But if people are telling you, especially the ones that care and love you or whoever it is, and telling you, yo, you're doing it the wrong way, you should clean it up a little bit, clean up your image, whatever it is, then take the hint, examine yourself. There's nothing wrong with starting over on some, refreshing up and going at it again and trying again. But a lot of y'all just want to get offended or think you're in the right, or you don't have to do nothing because you know what the fuck you're doing and you're going to do all this. It's like, yo, man, even the top of the top always gets opinion from people that are below them. You feel me? It's just on you as a person, a man or a woman, to take that in and realize what you need to fix and just make yourself a better person at the end of the day. If people aren't telling you, they don't give about you. They want to see you self-destruct and become the worst version of yourself. But for people that are actually approaching you, man to man, woman to woman, whoever it is, face to face, and they're letting you know they care and they're trying to check you in the right way. But a lot of y'all turn it to a negative and try to fight it and try to say people hate on you, everyone's jealous of me, and all this other bullshit. It's like, no. Even myself, I take criticism all the time from people I know and what I can get better on, and I move on. I don't cry about it. I don't mope. I don't bitch and complain. I get it. I move on, and that's what we all should do that as grown ass adults.
Everything is just done with this nonchalant energy. And that's because people just in a general sense do not care. And how we present ourselves when we leave our house is one symptom of that. So when I'm talking about this issue as a whole, it's not just the clothes. It's what it represents. It represents lack of care. If you are going through something, guess what? I understand that. However, part of getting through it is putting in the effort. That's one of the things that they tell you to do when you've gone on hard times, you're depressed. They tell you first start with making your bed. Small victories every single day. And look, leaving your house in regular street clothes rather than your pajamas and bonnet, that could be a step in the right direction, getting yourself together. Because when you look good, you feel good. So when people come in my comment section and they're like, well, you're just a hater. Sandra, why are you hating so hard? Understand, my message is actually love. See, people don't understand what love is. They think love is you kissing their behind every 5 seconds of the day, gassing them up, even when they are making poor decisions. People who actually care about you, they want to correct you. They want to guide you. They want to lead you in the right direction. They don't want you to just continue to mess your life up, all for the sake of not saying anything that offends you. It's kind of like the conversation about spinach in your teeth. These folks, they want you to just let them walk around with spinach all up in their mouth. And then they'll get mad at you if you point it out and tell them like, hey, you got a little something in your teeth. Why don't you just mind your business? I'm sorry. I was trying to make sure you didn't look like a damn clown walking around with spinach in your teeth, looking like some damn pot pie. People have a warped perception of what love is. They have a warped perception of what it means when somebody cares about you and wants better for you.
And here's a prime example of why you need to mind your business. So I just came out of the grocery store and there's an elderly lady in there, right? And I knew the lady had to be every bit of 70, probably more than 70, I'm sure. So I noticed this elderly lady had her dress on backwards. I mean, clearly I could see the tag. And I have worked with the elderly population for a very long time. So I said, you know what, it's probably just an oversight. She was rushing. You know, she probably has no idea. So here I am. I'm going to go and tell the elderly lady that, you know, her dress is on backwards. So I approach her, and I mean very softly, like close to her ear. I'm not making a big scene about it. I say, hey, I just want to let you know, in case you didn't know, you know, your dress is on backwards. Well, she immediately gets defensive and she says, I know my dress is on backwards. She said, and since you're so worried about it, I'll tell you why it's on backwards. And I was like, oh, okay. So she moves her purse, like she had a crossbody, she moves it from the front. And she said, you see that? She said, you see that spot? And I see this big brown spot. She said, yeah, I had an accident. She said, and if I turned my dress around, I could cover it up with my purse. She's like, and since you're so nosy and now you've seen the accident, do you want to smell it too? No, ma'am. No, thank you. And she was like, yeah. She said, I'm so sick of people. She said, you need to learn to mind your damn business. And I said, you know what? I said, ma'am, you are absolutely right. It was none of my business whatsoever. She was like, yeah. She said, if you want to come over here and ask me about it, you can smell it too. I said, no, you have made your point. I needed to mind my damn business. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I said, you have a wonderful day. And she said, and I hope you don't have a wonderful day. And I said, well, I probably won't now. Now that I've seen that and been asked if I want to smell it, I probably won't. I walk off. Let me tell you something. That's it. I don't give a damn if your clothes are inside out, upside down, flipped all around. It does not matter. I'm not going to open my damn mouth. That was a cue for me to mind my damn business, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm telling you, so in case you have something you about to go tell somebody, just don't. Just mind your damn business. That's the thought for today. Mind your damn business.
So when I make these videos, it's not about bashing. It's not about bashing anyone. It's about correction. And I'm not immune to correction either. There are plenty of videos that I come across where they clock my T. Shout out to Blunt Girly. She be clocking my T left and right. And here's the thing. I don't take offense to it. If it makes me feel some type of way, somebody bringing up or saying something, let's rewind it back. The reason why you feel some type of way is because deep down inside, you know it's wrong, but you're fighting to make it right. That's why you're offended. When you get that feeling inside, like, oh my God, I'm uncomfortable, that means you have an opportunity to grow. You should lean more into it. Uncover, why does that make you feel some type of way? Somebody saying, do not wear your pajamas out in public. Do not wear your bonnet out in public. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find you already know it's not right, but you're allowing yourself to do it for whatever reason. And I bet you if we analyze and took inventory of your life, we're going to find other areas where you are engaging behaviors that you know deep down inside you shouldn't be doing, but you're doing it anyways because you have that dysfunction in your life. Me telling you this isn't an attack. It really isn't. You might take it that way because you don't like my sense of humor or whatever the case may be. Look, this is YouTube. It's got to be entertaining, but it's still going to be informative at the end of the day. This message is to help you. Just like when I see videos that clock my T, those messages are there to help me as well. We are all on our journey to get better. We're all on our journey to improve ourselves, but how do you expect to improve when you just lie in your comfort, when you stay in your comfort zone? How do you expect to improve when you're not open for feedback and you're threatening to fight people because they're telling you something about yourself? That's why in my previous video, I said, if comfort is your highest value, stagnation will be your future. Because growing and evolving and becoming a better person, it is very uncomfortable. When you hear these messages and it clocks your T and it makes you feel some type of way because you know you've been living your life in a deficit, that discomfort that you're feeling is the first step to growing. That's why they call it growing pains.
Poor people are taught to just be grateful and be happy for the little bit that they're getting. And this sets adults up for failure should they ever achieve social mobility for a couple of reasons. One, part of luxury is choice. Choice is a luxury. That's why when you are poor, you don't have a choice. So you do have to be grateful for whatever is chosen for you. But in order to really make choices, you also have to have standards. You can't develop standards when you have been taught to just accept anything. You see this a lot in the type of lifestyles that people choose. People who have kids when they should have never had kids. People who have partners that are, clearly not great. You don't develop a sense of, I have choices. You just go along with whatever is happening to you. Now, I've used the example before of luxury hotels and how a lot of people don't get the full experience because to them, the standards start and stop at, I want a nice room. Everybody else is coming with a laundry list of things that they want, things that they don't want, because they have been raised that they get to make choices. I like doing yoga every morning, so I want them to have a yoga mat in my room. And people can pick up on the fact that you're the type of person who just takes what they can get, and therefore people are always going to take advantage of you in that situation. Happens all the time in designer stores. They might help you out, but they're not going to bring out the champagne. And in fact, you don't even know that you can just ask for the champagne. You think that you have to wait for them to bring it out. So when people are talking about, oh, the wealthy can tell that you don't have money, it usually comes down to little things like this, where your beliefs start to show up in your behaviors in distinctly different ways from everybody else in the space.
I understand privacy. However, once you leave your house, it's no longer just your business. It's observable behavior. Mind your business. It just seems to be the go-to phrase for people when they feel exposed, when they feel like the truth is hitting way too close to home. Because if the critique didn't apply, it wouldn't bother them. And that's the truth. If it don't apply, let it fly. Isn't that what they say? But the moment you get defensive, the moment you start, that just reveals you're not really secure in that the way you want to cosplay like you are. That's not real confidence. Because when I hear people do videos or things like that about things that I'm not ashamed about, or that I know is right, I don't feel no type of way. I don't feel like I need to get defensive and explain myself in the comment section. People who already know deep down inside something is wrong, but they have this cognitive dissonance and they're trying to fight against it. That's when you have that insecurity and you start thumb-thugging in people's comment section. Confident people don't panic at feedback. Unaccountable people do. That's the real problem at the end of the day. No standards, no accountability for not having standards. We live in what is called a society. So when a lot of us are showing up in the world with no standards, the overall standard for how we conduct ourselves in public spaces will continue to deteriorate. Have you ever been in a situation where you get invited somewhere? They don't tell you what to wear. They don't tell you what type of vibe it is. So you show up dressed how you usually dress, only to be an eyesore, only to stand out, and not in a good way. You know how uncomfortable that feels when everybody else got the memo except you? See, that's what it is every single time you leave your house looking like you didn't wash your ass, like you didn't do your hair. It's like you're stepping out into an environment where everybody else got the memo except you. There is such a thing as social cohesion. Within society, in order for us to have a high trust society, there has to be social cohesion. And when people step outside of that social cohesion, that leads to lower trust society. As much as people want to say, well, you ain't got to worry about what I got on. Understand your public behavior invites public interpretation. When you leave your house dressed like a whore, and then people start coming up to you asking how much, you can't be mad. Because if you got the uniform on, just like the Dave Chappelle joke, if you got the uniform on, then people are going to think, well, okay, this is a lady of the night. Just like if I walked around in a police uniform, you're going to think that I'm the police. If you walk outside your house looking any old kind of way, people are going to perceive you that way, and you will get treated accordingly. It is what it is. And this is why I relate this to loser behavior. Because what folks will say is, well, you shouldn't treat me in your kind of way just because I'm dressed this way. You shouldn't treat me like that. You should treat me. And it's like, okay, you expect to get all the reward with zero effort. You expect to get the same things out of life as people who put more into it. And it doesn't work that way. You get out what you put in. And if you're put in a bunch of nonchalant effort, lackluster effort, I don't give a damn effort, if I could even call it that, then guess what you're going to get out of life? Nothing of substance, at least. Just chaos. And I wish I could take account of all these different people that walk out their house looking crazy and then they want to thumb thug in the comment section with their dirty ass. I want to take an inventory of their life and their experiences to see if there's a correlation. If your life ain't ish, but you over here thumb thugging in my comment section about how you want to leave your house nasty, looking like you don't care, understand the common denominator is you. Things don't always just happen to people. That's where we got this whole victim mentality all messed up. Like, people really think that things just be happening to them. More times than not, we invite that to us. We invite things to us. Put out the energy you want to receive. If you want to receive, I don't give a damn energy. If you want to be treated like nobody cares, if you want to be treated like a slob, then by all means, slob away. Leave your house looking a damn mess. Getting online, telling people to mind their business.
So about a week ago, I made this video saying that it was tacky to wear a baseball cap in a nice restaurant, and people were getting pissed at it. They were saying things about my hair and about how it doesn't look nice in a nice restaurant, about my mustache, about all kinds of things, right? Missing the point completely. And I'm here to say that I'm going to double down on that. It's tacky to wear a baseball cap in a nice restaurant. I'm talking one with the dress code. I'm talking one with the ambiance. I'm talking one with like $30 appetizers, $60 entrees and above. I'm talking that. People are out here saying, well, how does them wearing a baseball cap bother you? You should mind your own business. And I'm not here to say that the act itself bothers me, but more so the fact that it is a signifier of where our society is headed standards-wise. As a society, our standards have been falling rapidly. People thinking it's okay to look like a mess in public, which, look, do what you want, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you look out of place. 20, 30 years ago, if you didn't take off your hat when they asked you to, then you would get kicked out of the restaurant. And it's not so much the hat, but it's more so a reflection of where the standards are going societally. And it's also a reflection of like, where else in your life is that bleeding onto? Where else are you lacking manners? Where else are you lacking etiquette? That's what I'm trying to get at here, that people are completely missing. And of course, it's just my opinion. People can do whatever they want. It doesn't bother me. But I think personally, my opinion, we should be raising our standards for our own appearances and taking greater pride in our appearances and how we show up in society. Because where else in our life does that translate?
That whole mind your business, it goes out the window when we think about society at large. Because we also have to deal with your I don't give a damn attitude and your I don't give a damn contributions to the world, if I can even call them contributions. When we're going through life and we're seeing everything is half-assed and people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, they're not putting in effort, it's all related. So it does affect us. Your I don't care attitude does affect the people around you, the people that have to interact with you.
Maturing is realizing you need to mind your own business. You see that? That's how I know a lot of y'all ain't mature. That's how I know y'all are not mature. Maturing is realizing mind your own business. And see, I'll admit, sometimes I struggle with this, but the problem is, it's hard for me to mind my business when I'm a part of somebody else's business. Y'all didn't catch that. See, I can mind my own business just fine. The minute I become involved in somebody else's business, now we got a problem. And now I need to find out, why did I get put into somebody else's business? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, in the moment that I become a part of somebody else's business, that also becomes my business. But yeah, maturing is realizing, keep your eyes on your own steak. Use your own seasonings from the table. And don't be concerned with why somebody at the end of the table is putting ranch on their steak and you only use salt and pepper. So if that doesn't tell you that adults are the main ones who don't know how to mind their own business, the trend is realizing, mind your own business.
If your first thought is mind your business when people say something that you don't like, you are not self-reflecting. The thought process should be, is this valid? Is there something I can improve? Before you just skip right over to, oh, this is offensive. Growth requires you to at least consider feedback. It doesn't mean you have to automatically take it in and apply it to your life, but at least consider it. But if you're automatically rejecting it, then understand you're going to stay exactly where you are in life. Probably isn't anywhere at all. If you want people to respect you, if you want opportunities, if you want people to praise you and look at you as being a pillar within the community, that comes with standards. You don't just get it like a participation trophy. You can't be all of those things with no critique, no standards, no expectation. That's that entitlement that we're all talking about. You don't get to be uncoachable and still expect to win. It doesn't work that way. And what's crazy is that anyone challenging this low effort, I don't give a damn behavior, you're automatically labeled as, you're a hater, you're judgmental, oh, you must be miserable. Usually it's the people walking out of their house looking any old kind of way, still in their pajamas. They're the ones who are truly miserable because you didn't even have the energy or the inspiration enough to wash your ass, brush your teeth, put on some clothes. So the irony of y'all calling everybody else miserable because they're pointing this out to you and saying, hey, you might want to switch this up. You might want to put a little bit more time and effort into yourself. You're projecting your misery onto them, onto us. You're so miserable, you don't even want to put on real clothes when you leave your house. Let that sink in. People who say mind your business rarely mind their outcomes. They are always the same people that are always stuck, always overlooked, always disrespected. And then they get on the Instagram, they get on the TikTok, and they got their phone in their hand and they're whining and complaining about how everyone's oppressing them, but they'll never take into account how their behaviors get them in the positions that they're in. Like I said, you get out what you put in. And if you're putting in bare minimum, you're gonna get bare minimum. Accountability always feels like an attack when the person is a low effort individual. If you're already trying, then feedback is just information. People who are already putting in the effort to change and better themselves, they don't see accountability, they don't see feedback as an attack. They see it as opportunity to grow. And if you're not trying, feedback will always feel like a judgment. Mind your business is simply a shield against discomfort. It's a shield to protect your low effort. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this whole video? Do you agree with me where it's like, mind your business is a cop-out? Y'all need to get it together and maybe mind yourself a little bit more? Or do you disagree where it's like, no, you shouldn't mind your business, even though you're literally not minding your business, thumb thugging in my comment section? I am curious to hear what you guys have to say. If you like the video, like the video. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video. I may or may not have that function. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.